to start by reading an article that was published 6 days ago in the Arizona Republic. The body of a 7-year-old girl was found Wednesday about 17 miles west of Lukeville in a remote desert area, U.S. Customs and Border Protection said. Officials believe the child was from India trying to cross from Mexico into the United States with a group from that country, according to the agency. Border Patrol agents believe human smugglers dropped the group near the Mexican border where they were told to cross the terrain into Arizona alone, the agency said. Agents searched for the missing people north of the border in remote terrain. They eventually found the little girl's body after a few hours. The remote area where she was found is a rugged desert wilderness with few roads and resources. The area had a high temperature around 108 degrees Wednesday. After agents found the girl's body, they continued to search for the other 2 people who had been traveling with her, the release said. The National Guard and U.S. Customs and Border Protection sent out aircraft and helicopters to search the area. And I'm not going to read the rest of it because I only have 3 minutes and 40 seconds left. But the point of reading this is that we have a crisis at the border. We have had a crisis at the border. I live in Arizona. I've been to the border. And so it wasn't so long ago that Speaker Pelosi and Senator Schumer said, this is a manufactured crisis. So I am very happy to hear today from both the chairman and the committee chairman that they are actually acknowledging that there is a crisis now. And so I really hope that we will work together, as I've said before, to try to change some of these policies, because as you can tell from this story, the smugglers could give a darn about these migrants. The smugglers are making money off these people. So instead of blaming President Trump, I wish we would put the blame where it belongs, with these smugglers, with the cartels, with the people that are abusing these migrants, and also with us, quite frankly, because we are not changing our policies. Last year, we had 2 pieces of legislation that I know of where we could have changed our policies to help stop this flow of the smugglers exploiting migrants, but not one of my Democratic colleagues voted yes. Now, fortunately, we have in the Senate some type of potential agreement to fund the humanitarian crisis over there, at least, which has been rejected, I think, 17 times by my Democrat colleagues in the House. So I want to work with you. I'm not trying to be disparaging, but I do have a question for you, Chief Provost. How would the funding for the humanitarian crisis, the $4.6 billion that is being proposed, help you to solve the crisis at the border?
Thank you, ma'am. Well, in numerous ways. You just mentioned it when you talked about the tragedies that we're seeing out there. The rescues, we've already rescued over 3,300 people crossing the border. As you identified, the temperatures are rising. This is a dangerous time of year. That funding would help in relation to all of the humanitarian expenses that are coming out of my operating budget right now, help support those medical contracts, transportation, help support when it comes to air support and being able to get out into those remote areas, all of the consumables of taking care of these folks when they are coming into our custody and our care. Those are expenses that are not in my baseline budget. They are just not there because of this crisis coming up here over the last year. And it would support all of those efforts, the care of the individuals in our custody when it comes to the humanitarian crisis, and then dealing with just what we see on a day-to-day basis on the border.
Thank you very much. And with the short time I have left, General McGuire, can you provide some examples of the positive impact the National Guard has had working with CBP on the border?
Well, ma'am, you mentioned the unfortunate incident we had just a couple weeks ago. Fortunately, the aviation and rotary wing support that we have had has led to no less than 1 humanitarian save of a life in the desert every time we've done this, and this is our 4th iteration of this. We have a great relationship with the JTF West Command and the Tucson and Yuma sector chiefs. Because of the nature of us only getting involved when there's an emergent condition to answer the call, we have picked up a number of their 911 calls and been able to be in support of them. The other thing I would say that's been hugely successful is it's great for our soldiers and airmen because they get the opportunity to contribute to their local communities. We just redeployed 400 soldiers from Afghanistan a month ago. All of them had been there for 10 months, so 400 of them redeployed, 58 of them asked immediately to turn around and try to fill the 200 soldier and airman gap we have between what we presently have on the border and willing to go forward. They're motivated to help. 15% of our guardsmen serve in their civilian capacity in police and law enforcement. It's the #1 sector for our National Guard formations. So they have a strong kinship with the Border Protections and Customs, OFO, and all the groups that they work with along the border. So it's been a great opportunity for all of them.
And thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for all the men and women that work in CBP, Department of Defense, the National Guard. You guys are heroes. Thank you.
Thank you. The